Ladies and gentlemen, I have received a request to do a video on Freud's old question, what women want. Now, I don't know if that's Freud's old question, but the person who sent the donation says that it's Freud's old question. What do women want? Not that I know, but I do have some personal experiences in my life. He asks, what do women want? Why do they choose one guy over the other? How do you get the woman that you want? Etc. Geez, where do I start on this one? Up until my early 20s, I was perplexed and confused and confounded by the feelings of love and courtship and stuff. Upon separating from this girl, breaking up with her because she was too dumb, she actually got a college degree when I dropped out, but she was very pretty and very sweet and very nice, but I couldn't make a relationship work with her. So I had to dump her, to put it rudely, and the feelings and the emotions and stuff over the days and the weeks after that, I was baffled by why they'd be so strong and powerful. And actually, people have written that love is an addiction similar to drugs, heroin or whatever. And withdrawal from love is similar to withdrawal from drugs, and you'll do anything to just get back a little bit, go have a little bit more of this drug or whatever. So, those similarities in my mind back then, I did come upon something that I think is much better at helping to understand and explain all of the emotions in courtship, rather than just saying that it's similar to a drug, which it is. I've never been addicted to heroin, but from what I've heard, it couldn't have been too much worse than this breakup with this young lady. So the lens that I finally settled upon as being the best for looking at these things through is evolution. It occurred to me that I am experiencing, or was experiencing back then, the same anguish and torment that ancestors throughout centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries have felt in relationships and with family and friends and loved ones and stuff like this. So I thought, first of all, it's nothing new. I'm not the first one in the world to feel this, but why have humans developed this? I mean, evolutionary biology is just a wonderful tool for explaining all kinds of things in human life very clearly, where everything else is just stabbing in the dark. Why would it be the case that our ancestors would survive better, would produce more offspring, if they became obsessed with their lover or their partner or whatever? I mean, not obsessed in a way of stalking, but you know what I mean, really love them, be involved with them, rather than just a hateful, bickering relationship just so far as it produces kids. That's enough because that pushes evolution forward or lets the species continue. No, it's not just that. There's actually a very, very strong link between people, between mates, if they're allowed to choose each other voluntarily. And probably even if not so. I don't know so much about that. Forced marriage, whether or not love grows on people or not. I doubt that. But at any rate, which of our ancestors would have survived better? The ones that had this sort of anguish and torment and sorrow when they were separated? Or the ones who could be separated from their mate and not really care? Now, you put it like that, and it's clearly obvious that evolution would favor a close attachment between the male and the female. Fine. Put that in your pocket. I think that's clear. What about the other factors of evolution? There's a couple other things we can look at. What do women want evolutionarily, and what do men want evolutionarily? Now, I have a large video series called Evolution, done by the Discovery Channel, I think, and in this video series it says, and I think it's quite clear, I think it's obvious, women have a very, very limited number of eggs. Now, whether that's true or not, the fact is they can only incubate one at a time. Whereas men could have hundreds and hundreds of incubations going on in women without any problem. Well, that means that women are going to be very particular and very choosy about the men that they accept seed donations from, right? And the men are going to be not so choosy about the women that they try to donate to. Because for a man, a seed donation is quick, cheap, easy, there's nothing. No problem at all. For a woman, taking a seed donation means 9 months plus the rest of the stuff that comes after the baby's born in 9 months. So the women would be much, much more particular, much more choosy, much slower to partake of donations and so on. And the men would be eager to donate as much as they could. That, I think, characterizes the human species perfectly. Now, I'm not going to try to use evolution to say why women seem to like men who are wealthy or with a lot of status. That, I think, I can just do from personal experience. When I was in my early 20s, I got a salary, 50 hours a week actual salary as a manager running Taco Bell. And I had enough surplus wealth, to purchase a new car with that. And it was a sexy little Mazda MX-6 two-door, what the British call a coupe. And it had a sunroof, and I put a bra on the front, and it had a spoiler on the back. Good-looking little car, right? That got me laid. I'm serious, it did. Women, it's a very different story. On the one hand, if you have no car, or if your car's a clunker. On the other hand, if you've got a sunroof and everything else, whatever. I mean, that's a personal anecdote, but I'll stand by that. Try it sometime. Try hitting on a bunch of women. Doesn't work because you're driving an old Datsun or something like that. Go buy yourself a BMW and come back and see how it goes. I actually had a guy come through the drive-thru at Taco Bell one time in a BMW, and the person working the window, I was just overhearing. The person working the window said, "Nice car. Does it help you get chicks?" And he said, "Until you drive a car like this, you cannot appreciate how shallow and materialistic women are." So take it from a man in a BMW if a guy in a Mazda can't convince you. Not that I'm not saying women are shallow and materialistic, but they do seem to go for that a little bit. They seem to go for status. They seem to like an older man, and men like women who are younger than them. So that works out fine, you know, as far as everybody's desires go. They like an older man with wealth, possibly privilege, some bit of power, and that is all the backdrop. That's just like you're up on the stage of life, and this is just the scenic backdrop behind you. Now, on top of all that, evolution, and women like wealth, and they like status, and they like older guys, and they're very picky and choosy, whereas men aren't picky and choosy. All that in the background. Now, you have to figure out how to find a good love relationship where you actually get along with the person and things go well. Now, as far as that goes, it's just a matter of finding a personality that clicks with you on the one hand, but I think there is an awful lot that you can do to make a relationship work or not work. As an example, the relationship with that beautiful young woman that I had to dump, and it was so tragically sad and everything, I think that our disagreements in the relationship and stuff were like a wedge that pushed us apart, and instead of me trying to change her and change her mind, I just accepted her as a metaphysical absolute. And she certainly didn't try to change me or my mind, because she didn't really have any particular convictions of any import. But I shouldn't have just taken her as a metaphysical absolute. I should have worked harder to change her mind if I wanted the relationship to work. She believed in God, so I thought it was really doomed. And then you ask, why was I in the relationship to begin with? You should have seen this girl. Now, it's not necessarily easy to try to change a person, but what I would say is you have to judge people and be honest about the judgments. Like, some people get extremely emotional and crazy, and they are irrational, and they call names